Welcome to the Swoosh Summer Special 2024 update for myself, the channel, and what to expect for the rest of the year. I'll be quickly talking about some guest appearances I've made recently, as well as some gaming pickups I got from Southeast Game Exchange. First, I do want to shout out Collective Bros podcast. I recently was a guest on their podcast for their Super Nintendo special episode, which is out right now. Link will be in the description for their YouTube. They are also on all podcasting platforms of your preference, so please check them out. And thank you so much, Collective Bros, for having me as a guest on your podcast. For me, we are still going to be doing those monthly game reviews. I have the next video already done. It will be dropping at the end of July, and we will have a game review coming out at the end of each month for the rest of this year, with the Games of the Year 2024 video dropping in December. So thanks so much for sticking around, liking, sharing my content, subscribing, and let me know what games you are excited to see for the second half of 2024, because there are so many to talk about. I was a very casual con goer for Southeast Game Exchange in Greenville, South Carolina. I was only there for Sunday, but I picked up some awesome things, got to see some awesome people. So real quick, we're just going to show you my pickups. I will say that I do post monthly gaming pickups on my TikTok. If this is sort of content that you'd like to see on my YouTube as well, please let me know, and maybe we'll start doing some monthly game collecting updates and pickups on the channel as well. The first thing I ended up picking up was the Game Informer issue of Resident Evil 4 Remake. I love picking up gaming magazines for the history, the developer interviews at the time, and just everything in between. I also was able to pick up some games that I already had but got them in better condition. For example, Afterburner on the Sega Master System. I already owned this game, but just the cartridge. I got a complete in-box copy for $5. Can't go wrong with that. And I'm trying to get cases from Master System games, so very happy to pick that up for a really good price. I also picked up Medal of Honor Heroes for $5 as well. This was another situation of I just had the UMD, but I got a complete in-box one for a good price. So really happy to upgrade the condition of games in my collection when I can, when it's worth it to me. I did pick up one Super Nintendo game, and that was Earth Defense Force. We had just talked about this game as part of the Super Nintendo special on the Collective Bros podcast. So seeing it, I was like, you know what? I just talked about needing it. I have to pick this up. I always thought that it was part of the EDF franchise, but no, this is its own complete individual thing. So very happy to get that in person. I also picked up my first HuCard game on the Master System, Ghost House. I just love the box art of them like holding the little card. I've never tried to play a card game on the Master System. They're usually cartridges, so very excited to pick this up. A nice little spooky platformer type game. I picked up some figures there as well. I ended up getting the Richter amiibo, so this is the last Super Smash Bros. Amiibo that I personally wanted for my collection. I have a bunch of amiibo, but this was the last one that I needed for my personal want list, so very happy to pick that up. I also was able to get a figure of Zero from Mega Man X series. This is an interesting one because it has a nice backdrop. There's apparently an X that goes with him that you can stack on top, so I might try to pick that up in the future. I paid $10 for this, and for a nice Mega Man figure, it's pretty decent quality, and I really like the backdrop of that intro stage for Mega Man X, so really cool to have this. I'm going to be on the lookout for the X buddy to go with him. On the PS2, I picked up Wild Arms 3. I've yet to play the Wild Arms series, but I'm trying to get other RPGs in my collection before they end up getting too expensive, and it was complete in box, so I just had to have it. Probably the most expensive thing that I got was Mega Man X Command Mission for the GameCube. This is the Mega Man X RPG. Don't know if it's good or bad. I did really want it for my collection since I've been playing through the Mega Man X franchise. One day we'll talk about this game. At Southeast Game Exchange, I also got to meet a bunch of content creators and voice actors that were guests at the convention. Didn't get to see everyone, but a couple folk that I admire and watch their content I did get to have great conversations with. One such folk I got to meet was My Life in Gaming, one of my favorite YouTube channels. They released a documentary about M2, long outstanding Japanese game studio, and I got to meet him. He was very awesome, very nice. Highly recommend you check out My Life in Gaming on YouTube as well. And lastly, a game I already owned, but I was able to get my copy of Resident Evil Remake signed by Joe White, the voice actor of Chris Redfield. He was awesome. He's also a big Resident Evil fan, so we had a great conversation. Definitely a great guy, and this is now the new centerpiece of my Resident Evil collection. But that's everything I picked up at Southeast Game Exchange. Like I said, I do usually do monthly gaming collection updates and pickup videos on my TikTok, but if it's something you'd be interested to see on YouTube, definitely let me know. In the meantime, please check out Collectabros podcast. Again, link in the description for their podcast episode out today, featuring me talking about the Super Nintendo. So please take a look at their content. Thank you so much, Collectabros, for having me on as a guest. And that is it for the Swoosh Summer Update. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you as well for liking, subscribing, and sharing my videos with your friends. Please stay tuned for my videos I have upcoming, and until next time, take care. I'm sorry, Resident Evil Deadly Silence.